Welcome back. I would now like to pass the digital podium to this session's sponsor, Paper Excellence, who will introduce our opening keynote speaker.
Hello and welcome to the 2022 BC Natural Resources Forum. My name is Chris Stagg and I'm the Vice President of Fiber Supply at Paper Excellence. I would like to begin by acknowledging that I'm speaking from the traditional territories of the Wasanic First Nation and the Lekwungen speaking peoples, which today include the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nations. Paper Excellence is privileged to operate on many diverse Indigenous territories in British Columbia, and we are grateful to be able to work and build partnerships with communities in these areas. Paper Excellence is a diversified manufacturer of pulp and paper products. We believe in the enduring value of wood-based products in global markets and have a large network of mills and shipping plants to produce them competitively. Through our distinct approach to operational excellence, we deliver high-quality and cost-effective products to customers around the globe. Today, I am honored to introduce Regional Chief Teegee. He is a member of the Takla Lake First Nation and the Regional Chief of the BC Assembly of First Nations. Please join me in welcoming Regional Chief Teegee.
Deniza, Sekuza, Skyza, Chiefs, Hereditary Chiefs, all of those in attendance in the 19th Annual BC Natural Resources Forum. First of all, I want to say greetings and want to acknowledge the territory that I'm calling from, the Dakelh people, the Lheidli T'enneh territory, and say thank you for allowing me to say a few words within their territory. I'm Regional Chief Teegee of the British Columbia Assembly of First Nations. I want to thank the organizers for the 19th Annual BC Natural Resources Forum for allowing me to say a few words. We once again meet during this pandemic in this virtual forum and venue to ensure the safety of all and make sure that we all stay well during this current pandemic and during this fourth wave. As a regional chief, I work to advocate and support all 204 First Nations communities in British Columbia. As a former registered professional forester, I understand the challenges and opportunities before the natural resource sector here in British Columbia. This past year has been particularly difficult, but we must hold up our resolve to build upon the reconciliation needed with First Nations in this province and in this country. I want to acknowledge the unmarked graves that were found in Tecumseh, in Cooper Island, and other former Indian residential school sites. These discoveries have sent shockwaves throughout our general population in Canada and internationally. But for our communities and our families, we always knew this history. We knew this to be true. Apologies from the church or governments are not enough. We need to see real support and action to identify additional sites throughout Canada. It's been well over 2 years since the COVID-19 pandemic changed our lives. So many of us have suffered the loss of loved ones. Some of us have lost our businesses or our livelihoods. Every one of us has felt the worry, sadness, and fatigue caused by the pandemic. Yet we remain resilient and strong. Most importantly, we have not allowed this pandemic to take our focus away from the many other critical issues that we face as First Nations leaders. As industry leaders, you all must realize that we are now in an area of consent-based decision-making with First Nations. Both Canada and British Columbia have laws to implement the United Nations Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples. This only partially changed how business must be done with First Nations and in British Columbia and Canada. Free, prior, and informed consent is a reality. The natural resource sector is still one of the highest employers of First Nations citizens and their companies. First Nations are also gaining more control of how projects are designed, built, operated, and decommissioned. In October, I spoke to the Canada-China Business Council and expressed how First Nations are strategic partners in the natural resources sector and our growing clean energy sector. As we all work to transition to net zero, First Nations must be part of the building infrastructure in rural and remote communities for electrical vehicle fleets, telecommunications, and climate resiliency. We must also be part of the benefits from the mineral extraction for the technologies of today and tomorrow. We are seeing the need for legislative reform in all areas of the natural resources sector, including forestry, mineral online staking, carbon futures, and climate change. 2021 was filled with climate change related to climate emergencies. In the last 6 months, we've experienced the heat dome, major wildfires, flooding, and now winter storms. We are witnessing the reckoning from decades of unfettered growth from an area of cheap utilization of hydrocarbons as energy. We must work together to design better low-carbon approach to the natural resource sector. First Nations can offer strategic solutions, including human resource power, project certainty, traditional knowledge, and creative financing options. At the British Columbia Assembly of First Nations, we have been working to examine First Nations Wellness Index as a non-gross domestic product measure to assess the health and wellness of our society. The pandemic has shown us that there are more important things in our lives than monetary gain and wealth. First Nations seek to protect what we have left, innovate in the way we do business together, secure benefits to our lands and resources, without compromising the well-being of current and future generations. In 2022, we look forward to building our trade relationships and promote intertribal trade with other Indigenous peoples around the world. We also look to strengthen the existing trade relationships with our partners in the United States, China, Japan, and India. As First Nations build wealth from our lands and resources, so will all British Columbians and Canadians. We look forward to working together as we rebuild our economies after this pandemic. I want to thank you all. Stay safe. Thank you. Masicho.
Hello, I'm Jack Middleton from the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers, and I'd like to thank Regional Chief Terry Teegee from the Assembly of First Nations for his keynote presentation. Relationships and partnerships with Indigenous-owned businesses and communities across Canada play a key role in the success of our industry, while supporting Canada's goals for reconciliation. In 2021, CAP released an ESG report titled Indigenous Prosperity and the Natural Gas and Oil Industry. The report found that in 2019, our industry procured more than $2.6 billion in goods and services from 275 Indigenous businesses, suppliers, and contractors across Canada. We're proud to be a platinum sponsor for the BC Natural Resources Forum and support important conversations like the one you just heard. I hope you enjoy the rest of the forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack. And that concludes our first keynote address of the morning.